If you've tried the Pomodoro technique and thought, why does this feel harder than it should? Or I must be missing something. I'm not quite getting it. You're probably not doing anything wrong. You're just maybe running into the same challenges I see a lot of the time when I work with women in business, especially during my Get It Done weekends when we really focus on Pomodoros. And so in this video, I want to walk you through this most common Pomodoro mistakes or challenges that quietly can sabotage our focus. So you can stop fighting the tool and start letting it support you. When women come to me overwhelmed, it's rarely because they aren't working hard. It's because everything feels important. Their focus is completely fragmented, and they're trying to do a little of everything all day long. Pomodoros are meant to help with that, but only if they're used in the right way. So let's start with the first mistake I see almost every single time. And that is using a Pomodoro as a timer instead of a decision tool. So let me tell you what I mean by that. Because this one shows up immediately at Get It Done weekend. Someone says, I'll just start a Pomodoro and see what I can get done. That's the problem. Pomodoros work after the decision is made, not before. If you haven't decided what done looks like, the timer is just going to amplify the overwhelm that was there already. The second mistake is starting with tasks that are just too big. Another thing I see a lot when I'm working one-on-one with clients is they choose something like, I'm going to work on my website, or I'm going to catch up on all of my clients and they have hundreds of them, or I'm going to get organized, right? Those are not Pomodoro-sized tasks. If your brain keeps wondering, that's not lack of discipline, it's lack of definition. A Pomodoro needs a clear focus, a clear edge. The third mistake is multitasking inside the Pomodoro. Now, this one sneaks in quietly. You're technically working, but also checking messages. You're switching tabs, taking a little peek. I'm just going to respond to this thing real quick. And when this comes up, what you need to do is you want to pause and you want to name it. You want to say to yourself, Pomodoros are indivisible. If you split your attention, you lose the benefit of the container. Mistake number 4, skipping or misusing the break. This is huge, and almost no one realizes it. The break isn't optional, and it's not for catching up. I see this all the time with especially high achieving women. They want to push straight through because they feel like I'm in the zone, but then the focus drops later, energy crashes, and you blame the Pomodoro system. The break protects your ability to focus again. Like in a marathon, you want to make sure that you are pacing yourself. Mistake number 5 is overloading the day with too many Pomodoros. This comes up constantly when clients first start tracking Pomodoros. They plan 10, 12, sometimes more. That's not realistic. For example, at the Get It Done weekends, we intentionally limit Pomodoros and something surprising happens. Work actually gets finished. When you limit the amount of Pomodoros that you are going to actually do each day, then you have to make maybe some difficult choices. You have to prioritize instead of thinking, I'm just going to cram everything into today. You want to make sure that you're just picking a few Pomodoros to do for the day. Because remember, not every minute of the day is the Pomodoro. And in another video, I'll talk about how there are some tasks that fit Pomodoros better than others, and you'll learn that for yourself the more you do it. But you want to make sure that the entire day isn't Pomodoros. You want to intentionally set a set number of Pomodoros for each day and do that at the beginning of the day. Pomodoros are really powerful for thinking and figuring things out, for creating things, for deciding things. Now, you can use Pomodoros for working in your business as well. In your business means to be using Pomodoros for emptying your inbox or for returning client calls or for administrative tasks. However, if you want to see the most progress and if you really want to increase your productivity, then you want to use more Pomodoros each day for working on your business rather than for just reacting and working in your business. So you can use them for both, but be really intentional. And the way that I help the ladies be more mindful of this is to start with, as you're beginning your Pomodoro, not only to ask yourself, what am I doing? What does done look like at the end of this Pomodoro? But also to ask yourself, is this Pomodoro working in my business or on my business? And if you're familiar with my color-coded planning system, you can define whether it's a blue or a purple or a yellow or a green. I'll drop the link to my color-coded planning system below so you can watch that video if you're not familiar with it. But that is going to help you realize and start to notice how many of your Pomodoros each day are reactive and how many of them are working on your business and helping you grow and move forward. Finally, the last mistake I see is people quitting too soon because, oh, the Pomodoros, they just don't work. Most people don't give the Pomodoro technique enough time to reveal what's really happening. I'm sure you've already noticed from the other challenges that I've mentioned that if we do follow this system, it's going to expose some of the cracks, and that's going to feel uncomfortable. And we might want to shy away from what's causing the uncomfortableness, which is the Pomodoro technique. But ultimately, these cracks are there whether you use the technique or not. The Pomodoro techniques reveal what's really happening. If it feels uncomfortable, that's often just clarity settling in, not failure. Pomodoros show you where things are fuzzy and not clear. They highlight where you have boundaries and where you have missing boundaries. They show you where your expectations are maybe a little bit unrealistic and help you manage and recalibrate them. That information is gold. If you're feeling like the Pomodoro technique has stopped working for you, it's usually not the tool. It's one of these misalignments I just mentioned. Fix those, and then the Pomodoro system can do what it's supposed to do. It can be a support system, not another thing to manage. I'm in love with using the Pomodoro system right now. I use it to plan my day. I use it when I'm doing my weekly momentum and creating my weekly top 10. And I use it as a measure of productivity rather than minutes spent on things. It's the amount of Pomodoros I've done. And I play games with myself. So I will find often that something will take less Pomodoros than I anticipated. And sometimes something will take more Pomodoros than I anticipated. As I realize this, I can learn to manage my expectations better and break things down or chunk things together better to better manage my day and run my week. So if you want help applying these ideas into your week, not just in theory, make sure you download the Pomodoro cheat sheet. I've linked it below. And you can then learn how to use Pomodoros in a way that actually supports your work. And before you start using the Pomodoro technique on your own, you'll want to watch the video, 5 things you need to do before starting the Pomodoro technique. Comes a few things that I always make sure that my clients understand first, because getting those right makes everything else easier. I created this YouTube channel for women in business who want inspiration, momentum, and real strategy, not pressure. If that sounds like you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I add new videos every week. And remember, you don't need to fix everything. You just need clarity. You just need one focused Pomodoro at a time. I'll see you in momentum.